Don't leave me hanging. It's go time.
Hey everybody, this is Josh. Welcome to another magnificent game of StarCraft 2, this one being played for the third time in a row between EG.Axslav, the red Protoss down in the bottom right corner of Shakuras Plateau, his opponent. As always, coL.rsvp, the blue Protoss, up here in the top left corner, and it is the latter edition. There are no destructible rocks here inside of either player's main, so we are going to see cross-position PvP on Shakuras Plateau. This should allow them some time to get some macro going, and once again, this best of 3 series is being played for the ESEA.net StarCraft 2 Team League Grand Finals. The winning team will receive $2,800 to split amongst themselves, and both teams obviously want to win this game so they can get one step closer for their team. That last game on Xel'Naga Caverns was absolutely bizarre. We saw a base trade, a full base trade. It could not have gotten any closer. There were only a few probes remaining by the end of that game, and only a couple of buildings for each player. Actually, AskJoshy only had a Nexus, no fighting forces at all, so it did come down to the very, very last unit there for AskJoshy. But he's going to go ahead and scout this horizontal position first. Of course, we know that he's not going to find anything there. RSVP choosing to be a little bit more passive, getting his gateway up first, and just going to wait for AskJoshy to show up at his front door. He's actually... that's kind of an interesting timing that RSVP went for the gateway first and probe second. Actually, it looks like he was ahead on both probe and... No, I'm confused. Either way, Chrono Boost spending is really going to make the difference here. RSVP did save up his Chrono Boost in the first game so he could get Warp Gate out a little bit faster and get a 1-unit advantage. We'll see if that is his typical PvP build, if he does it again here on Shakuras Plateau. But AskJoshy again zapping that pylon, forcing RSVP to respond in kind by pulling a probe of his own. Of course, all the mining time that he just had while AskJoshy was scouting and he just stayed at home mining, that could also come into play. It's very minuscule, but you know, just every little early advantage you can get in a mirror matchup, as fragile as PvP, is a good one to have. AskJoshy still just checking around, looking for any sort of pylon, just making sure all the timings are very, very standard. RSVP actually chooses to go for the Cybernetics Core before pylon, while AskJoshy goes the other direction and gets the pylon before Cybernetics Core. Both are basically the same exact thing. As you watch the net production tab, RSVP is going to have a couple of seconds benefit there and now start to slam his Chrono Boosts into that Warp Gate research, even though he's working off of just one. And this first Stalker should come out in plenty of time to stop AskJoshy's probe. Oh no, AskJoshy drops a gas steal here, an assimilator, onto RSVP's second gas. That is actually going to sort of pigeonhole him into a certain set of builds. He can't take that second gas extremely quickly and go for DTs or something like that. I doubt he really wanted to do that anyway, but we'll see if it actually makes a difference. First Stalker out, going to easily be able to destroy this defenseless assimilator, of course, but it is going to take some time. Gateways 2 and 3 actually being dropped in vision range of AskJoshy, so that makes me wonder if he's going to cancel those after he kills this assimilator. I don't think he will, though. He doesn't want to fall too far behind. AskJoshy, on the other hand, already with his second gate, he's got a forward pylon a little bit farther out in his base. AskJoshy scouting around for proxy pylons, of course, after seeing what we just saw out of RSVP on the second map. It's probably a good idea, not to mention the fact that he is actually dropping a forward pylon right here in AskJoshy's face, and he's just barely missing it right now. The probe actually jumped back in to try and get some scouting information, but it looks like RSVP Stalkers did find him and kill him. No cancel is going to happen there for gateway number 2, and I doubt it will happen for number 3 here. This probe gets in on the action as well to finish that little guy off, and soon he will be able to take that assimilator for himself. AskJoshy back at home still doesn't even have a second gas online, so it's not going to set RSVP back too far, really, relatively. AskJoshy is going to actually kill this pylon off, but RSVP did get 2 Stalkers warped and almost finished that third one, but that will be refunded as the pylon is destroyed. He pulled 2 Stalkers from his main as well to try and get some early aggression out, it looks like. And AskJoshy going all the way up to 4 gates here. Looks like RSVP back at home's doing something a little bit different, getting a Twilight Council. So we have 4 gate against a Blink build, evidently. Not 100% a Blink build, but when you see nothing but Stalkers already out on the field, as well as the Twilight Council coming along off of 3 gates and 2 gas, Blink, of course, is the first thing you'll think of. Check out RSVP's building placement. It's a total SimCity, blocking his mineral line totally behind this huge barricade of buildings. AskJoshy would have to go around the sides if he wants to try and take out those probes, so that's kind of interesting. He does have 6 Stalkers of his own chasing down the 2x2 sets of RSVP. Back at home, he is warping in 2 more Stalkers, so if AskJoshy continues this, at least they'll be on even footing. RSVP dropping a pylon right here so he can warp in on the low ground later on and cut that run distance a little bit. 6 Stalkers for AskJoshy about to arrive to 6 Stalkers of RSVP, but of course he has that high ground advantage. AskJoshy sending 1 Stalker up a little bit early to take that first shot, but RSVP with the high ground advantage, that visibility advantage, is going to be able to repel AskJoshy. There's no way he can really go in and bust that, especially when he has warp-ins on his side. Those next 2 Stalkers would have definitely been enough to kill off that force from AskJoshy. AskJoshy going to expand quite quickly, so 4 gates, 1 robo facility coming along. I have to imagine he's just going to get a quick observer, and then I'm not sure what he's going to do with it after that. Maybe a tech to Colossi, but RSVP getting blink as we expected. Another pylon coming down here. He should maybe add on a 4th gate after that blink is finished. You can actually support, barely support, 4 gates worth of Stalkers. You just do 1 round. You can't warp in 4 at a time generally, but you can do staggered warp-ins and still be able to support a lot more production, so I would be surprised if he doesn't add on that 4th base. You'll notice his minerals and gas getting a little bit high here. He could expand behind this as well, of course, but the advantage of the Blink Stalkers does wear off quite quickly when your opponent is getting Immortals and an expansion of his own. So here goes RSVP through the middle of the map. He might snag the Stalker. Yeah, he does show off his Blink ability just to kill that Stalker, and I do think that decision is fine. There's an Observer out for AskJoshy. He's not going to see anything too surprising, but AskJoshy losing a pylon that was warping in, now going to lose this other pylon that's already finished. RSVP does not have a forward pylon anywhere on the map. He's still just streaming across through the middle from his natural, from his main actually, and here goes this Nexus that AskJoshy just sunk 400 minerals into. He actually let it finish and then let it die, so his first Immortal is done. He's going to come down here and try and take as many shots as he can. Force fields go down, but that's yet another benefit of having Blink on your side. Forge being built here for RSVP. He's probably going to get those +1 weapons as quick as he can. AskJoshy should be chrono boosting out Immortals, not spending any chrono boost. He does have enough to actually spend one right now. Ooh, more force fields coming down. RSVP blinks back, still has 12 Stalkers intact. AskJoshy with only 5 Stalkers, 2 sentries, and an injured Immortal. Another force field goes down just randomly there. Kind of interesting. Maybe a misclick. Immortal number 2 now on the field. Of course, he has full health, and another one is being produced. Is that one being chrono boosted? Yes, it is. So RSVP still just testing AskJoshy, bouncing a little bit in, bouncing back out. He has Blink on his side. He can continue warping in from home. He's got a pylon, actually a probe over here that he could be building a pylon with. He's actually sneaking an expansion over at this bottom spawn location's natural, at the plausible 3rd location normally for RSVP, so both players trying to expand. AskJoshy is actually contained by a horde of angry Blink Stalkers, while RSVP has his entire side of the map to mess with. AskJoshy did have this Observer over here, but he did not think to check that other base. He just comes in here instead and sees 3 Warp Gates and a Forge researching +1 weapons. That's all he's going to see. Actually, another gateway is warping in, and a Templar Archive both coming in at this second base here for RSVP. He's transferring a bunch of probes, but AskJoshy's Observer was already out of town, so he didn't even see that. AskJoshy's still just focusing so much on getting more Immortals out. He'll be at 4 here soon. He's working off of 4 gateways as well, like I wanted RSVP to be doing. But army value going to favor AskJoshy by 13. Worker supply favoring RSVP by only 1 at this moment. So RSVP looking a little bit fragile here. He does have Blink on his side though, so he takes out a Stalker very quickly and backs up to his Warpin pylon. He can get 3 more Stalkers at a time. He's actually adding on 3 more gateways at his second base. AskJoshy tried to take a couple shots at that pylon, instead decides to chase him down, but now he's between the forces and their pylon, so he's going to take that out incredibly easily before RSVP even gets to make use of it. I didn't see a single forward warp-in from there, but he still has all 12 Stalkers alive. It's going to not be very much here against these 4 Immortals, though, and a pretty high count of Stalkers and Sentries mixed in as well. But like I said, RSVP has all this hidden tech and all this other gateway action happening over here. He can just warp in and continue to supplement. Back at home, nothing crazy happening, and of course he has Blink, so he's going to give the runaround. AskJoshy doing a good job trying to pin these forces here and right as Blink was on cooldown, so RSVP does escape with some of his forces. Oh no, 4 of his Stalkers don't have Blink yet, so he's going to lose one of them very quickly, then Blink over to the other side, finally managed to escape. Force fields go down, but it's not going to matter. He's already on the other side of them, and he is just going to run home now. AskJoshy has to be feeling good about that. He's got 5 Immortals in this mixture. He's up by 9 supply, 4 Worker supply. Very interesting stuff. He's looking pretty good here. His Natural is running just fine, throwing up 2 more Assimilators now, a couple more Pylons, but check this out, RSVP, the longer this goes on undetected, the stronger it will be, and he is warping in High Templar just to make Archons at this point, and it was played for patch 1.3.3 just yesterday, I believe, so yeah, they have that increased range. They're massive units. They can squash force fields. Here comes AskJoshy finally coming in. Oh no, what did I just hit? Spacebar on accident. But AskJoshy finally comes in with this Observer. He's going to see Archons morphing. He's going to see Zealots getting warped in. He's going to see some of this force here from RSVP. If we look at the Army tab now, it is favoring RSVP just because he had all those hidden gateways. And like I said earlier, this is game 3 in a best-of-3 series, so both players don't want to make any more slip-ups here. RSVP did some early aggression with Blink. He got a couple free kills. AskJoshy came back at him with a lot of Immortals. Actually managed to do some good damage, but AskJoshy, just when he drops a pylon over here at this 3rd base, gets discovered. Probe taken out. More Stalkers streaming across the map now. He's got 4 of them right there. Back at home, the Forge has already completed +1 weapons, and I looked at it right as he started. +2. I don't believe AskJoshy has any plus weapons just yet. No, he is getting it. No, he's actually getting a Colossus and Extended Thermal Lances right now, adding on 4 Pylons as well, so he doesn't get blocked. RSVP dropping that forward pylon once again. He can warp in High Templar over here to form Archons very quickly. He has no robotics facility, of course, so this Observer is going to be here forever and ever. He's going to basically have to win it with Gateway Forces and Archons. Interesting predicament here. These Immortals don't do bonus damage against Archons. They are psionic and massive, but they are not armored. This Colossus does not have Extended Thermal Lances done yet, so he's going to have to be very careful with that as well. But here we go. Archon, Sentry, Zealot, Stalker. Blink Stalker, might I add. And Archon standing up very well so far. First one goes down, second one still doing its damage. Oh, these Zealots have charge. I didn't even realize it, so that's why he warped in so many of these Zealots, and the Archon squashing force fields, allowing those Zealots to actually get through the force fields. I like it. Well, patch 1.3.3 making a big difference here for RSVP, building those Archons to get his Zealots a little bit more mobility. This Colossus is taking heavy damage from the Stalker still. It's down to only 4 HP, and a nice blink up the cliff finishes off that Stalker. Suddenly RSVP with 80 supply against 70. AskJoshy doing a big round of warp-ins here, but RSVP just did a big round of warp-ins back at that forward pylon. Don't know when he's going to actually bring those into the fight. I just see them chilling on the minimap, but all these Zealots are still alive. There they go on the minimap, starting to move. Another Colossus goes down to just a couple of Zealots, and AskJoshy with the GG right as that next wave of Zealots arrives, taking out that pylon. That Colossus going down to just 2 injured Zealots down here. Man, that was a big loss. And this next Colossus was going to die in a matter of seconds. So RSVP takes that series 2-1 and puts a point up on the board for Complexity Gaming against Evil Geniuses in this ESEA.net best of 3 series, etc. One step closer to $2,800 for his team, Complexity Gaming.